right, Tom, the next team we got to talk about
Is
is
24 home run, Chris Bracone and Anthony DeRue. 90-1 pre-draft, 100-1 odds post-draft. What do you think about this team, Rick?
third place currently 95.5 points. I think this season has really been divided into three segments. The first 6 weeks they were 12th to 9th. Week 7 to 14 they basically were 5 and 6, and they just moved into the second and third over the last couple of weeks. Now traditionally I say this is their MO. They get to second, they get to third, they get to fourth, and they collapse. And I fully expect this to happen with them. You know, we talked about their dinosaur mentality and their loss in a generation, but to respect them, they finished fourth, second, first twice, and sixth since they came back to us.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
history this team has.
Well,
Unbelievable fortitude.
But people don't remember that they weren't in our league for the first couple of years.
No, they
I mean-
weren't, but still you can't disregard where they've ended up, how competitive they've been, how many moves they've made. They're always in it, they're always competing. People may not like their bravado, their style. They're both gentlemen and a half. They're very competitive. I'm so happy that they're in the league.
Yes.
And it's just amazing how they're there every time. Every time. I mean, solid picks. If you look at their infield, they haven't changed one person. Not one person. That's
No.
pretty impressive. That's very impressive. And they didn't change a lot of their outfield.
No.
That means an impressive offense. And that, as far as a
draft.
fantasy baseball team is, to me, garners a lot of respect, especially on offense.
I do respect their draft. I mean, they haven't changed that many offensive players. They had to get rid of Berkman. They found a way to get rid of Teixeira, which I still can't believe. And they recovered from some injuries. But you know what I really think they've taken advantage of? They've taken advantage of the free agent market and the lack of skill of the teams that pick early.
Well,
They
you
were
keep
able to
you
get
keep
Jose
mentioning.
Fernandez, right?
Yep.
How did they get Fernandez? How does he go to them? Tony Cingrani, how does he get to them? Edward Mujica, how did he ever get to them? You know what I mean? So these are key, right now they're key players on the team, Fernandez, Cipriani, and Mujica. So that combined with their draft, they had a good draft, has really put them in a race. Matt Cain hasn't worked out for them, and it may not work out for them. And they actually might have made a bad trade giving up the power to get the speed.
Well, Kluber, like we said, is working out very well for the Mets.
For the Mets.
Yeah,
Very
well.
You'd think that Ryo's going to be better, but maybe he's on the decline and Kluber's on the way up. So, I think they made a bad trade, honestly, all joking aside. At first I didn't, but I think the mentality of going for the power,
Right.
getting rid of the power, wasn't a good idea. Buchholz is a big question for them. He hasn't been able to get back on the field. And Chris Mellon has really been a disappointment.
Yes, he has, absolutely. Especially how early they took him.
And we called John Axford
Yep.
losing his job right away.
Yep.
So, they're 24 home run. And again, they're right where I expect them to be, but I know where they're not going to be. And they're not going to be in first place. I mean, they just don't have the team. There's too much competition right now in the league. And as good as they are, they're not the...
For them to win first, they'll have to have some guys turn it around, and that could include some big people that they just got on.
Matt Cain and, Chris Mellon, if they don't turn it around, forget about it.
And I don't think they will.
And they don't have enough power. They made a bad trade, get rid of the power.
Yeah.
So, that's
Rich,
them.
the next thing we're going to talk about is a person that goes from cocky to timid to cocky to timid,
nervous, I don't know what to
and his
do.
name is John
Talks a lot of
Torchio.
shit.
Harlem Shakes.
Torch, 501 pre-draft, 250 post-draft. And let me tell you something, Torch, not for nothing, okay? You have been up and down this year like a roller coaster. There's nights you call me up panicking and you don't know what to do, please help me. And then there's days where, I'm going to win this league, and
Yep.
why am I not in the poll?
Yeah, but
and
you and
didn't
your
win
cousin.
one poll.
You and your cousin.
Yeah, you didn't win one poll, by the way, buddy. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
how many was he in?
Two polls, I think, and he
He
lost
was
both
in,
of them.
and he lost like miserably.
I think
though,
he
right?
lost both of them, and I have to check. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think miserably.
But who helped you at the draft? Tommy. Okay? Whose players did you take most of? Mine. Okay, so now all of a sudden you're at 97.5 points, and you're acting like a big tough guy all of
Yeah.
a sudden. Okay? I told you I wanted to call you tonight, and you're like, I'm too busy for you?
And then, Rich, how about the video he puts up?
And the
balls,
balls of the Beavis
this
and Butter
amateur
video.
puts up.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something right now, man.
And there was no thought put into
Yeah,
it. It
no
was just
thought.
Is that funny? That's hilarious.
You're
right?
on my shit list right now,
My
Torch, and
God.
I helped you
I think he's
all
on
year.
I think he's on his own shit list because look at that team. What do you see, Rich? Let's break down.
Well,
this
here's
team.
what I see. I see what are you doing with Rex Brothers and Pedro Strop? And who told you to try to plan for what closers might lose their job or get traded? Who told you, Torch? Huh? I told you. And you just copy because you're desperate.
Calm down. Calm
Okay,
down.
I'm sorry.
I know you're
I'm
getting
sorry.
excited.
I'm sorry. I mean, and Justin Verlander, would you have him for 4 days and get rid of him?
Well, who talked to him after that?
You do. And he traded him. He just copied then you get Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
asked
my
me
God.
about Stanton.
Giancarlo stinking.
And then you offered Chris Dale for Cespedes, and you're lucky you got bailed out of that.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something.
Very
I told
lucky.
you Cespedes was not worth Chris Dale.
Very lucky.
You know what I mean? And I totally took advantage with you, and I got Ricky Velasco for Justin Verlander, and you know what? I got Pedroia thrown in. Could you believe it?
Yeah, it's
He
tough.
threw Pedroia into the deal.
But you know what? Torch has made some good moves. You know what? Bartolo Colon has totally worked out for him. Even though that's a copycat move for me the year before, it's still a great move. Rendon's worked out. He hasn't had too many other moves that have worked out in the free agent pool. He's made some moves, but you want to know something? He's the type of guy that puts players up like this. So and so is available on the message board, and then I call him up and I say, "Hey, I'm interested in them," and he goes, blah, 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 and he uses it as an excuse to validate his. Oh, Tommy must like him, and then the very next week he takes them off. They're not available.
Yeah.
That's the kind of cornflake that Torch is sometimes.
He's a cornflake.
He goes with the wind. He goes with the wind. I mean, I appreciate the
nervous guy,
respect.
too.
Like
He's
you
a
said,
nervous guy.
either he's confident standing over you in the armor, or he's a newborn babe in the woods with the
Yeah,
wind
yeah.
blowing.
I need
Me.
help.
Help! I'm the turtle on your back.
Help.
And
Help.
he needs help. So right now, I'm going to be honest, Rich. He needs help. I don't think first place is going to elude him if he doesn't make a move.
Well, I'm going to just give some serious things about his team. I thought right now he got Colon off the waiver wire. He got Anthony Rendon off the waiver. Really good moves.
Huge move.
Obviously, he needs more from Melky and Curtis Granderson and Aris Ramirez and Ike Davis and Giancarlo Stanton.
But he's
gotta
not going to
actually
get it
drop-
from them.
He's not.
He's not getting
He's not.
it from those
He's
guys.
got to
you
drop
mentioned.
Straw, Pedro Strop, and
Oh
Ike
my
Davis.
God! Come on. The speculation
You know,
game has to be over soon.
Listen, he's been there all year. First, second, and third. He's been in the 90s all year, so we can't argue with that.
Nope. Can't.
But what's going to happen, Torch, in 4 weeks when you're down to 91
Right.
and you call me up or you call Tommy up, I ain't answering the phone.
Dude, I am so not answering that phone.
I'm not answering the phone.
Rich,
You're
what-
on your own.
Rich, we're
You're on your own.
you so are, especially at next year's draft.
Yeah.
Rich, we're going to move on to the team that's in first place. One of the gayest people in the league. It's the Bistro Smokers, and that's
Yes.
not for Walter because he is one of the biggest
nice
gentlemen.
guy.
Dude, what a nice guy. I mean, he really is. I love
Yeah.
that dude.
Well,
and I
you
love
know-
his demeanor. But you
Yeah.
know what? We're really talking about Sal. Sal Kupi Kukalo.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we get
Wait,
into
what's
his
the-
team,
what's
I
this?
want to show you something. Okay?
What is this?
I have a little hobby of mine, and it's.
Well, that looks. Wow.
I got into pastry chef making, and can you zoom into this? And I just wanted
Wait,
to
show the
you-
crowd.
Yeah, let me
Wait,
show you.
That
You
is
guys
really
see this?
amazing.
Do you guys see this? Got a good
Wow.
picture?
Wait, what is this?
This is a deconstructed Oreo cookie.
That sounds expensive.
Homemade.
That sounds expensive.
Homemade
Rick.
deconstructed Oreo cookie.
You didn't buy that at another
No,
store?
with a strawberry preserved coulis. I did not buy. I'll tell you how I got into it. And blueberries.
Wow.
And the wafers, I had to make the wafers homemade. Okay, and I can't tell you how I got the recipe. And I just want you see the makeup of this.
I've never
the
seen an Oreo
presentation,
cookie
you know what I
presented
mean?
like
Look
this
at
in my
look at it.
life.
I'm gonna put it over here. I mean,
I don't even want to touch it. It's such a work of art.
This is what you do because it's deconstructed. Okay. You have to
It's
put
so
the
beautiful.
Oreo. Isn't it great? The presentation,
My
the
God, look
elegance.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
it's it's unbelievable. I've never seen an Oreo cookie
the
presented
color.
like this.
You know what I mean? So, and what you kind of have to do because it's
Well,
deconstructed.
How do you eat it?
Well, you kind of gotta like.
it looks so expensive. I mean,
It is, and you know what? This is a. It takes a little effort. You know,
Okay,
and
show
the
me what to
recipe-
do. Show
Well,
me
what
what
you
to
got to
do.
do is you have to reconstruct the cookie.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit.
I'm used to taking it apart, not
I know.
putting it together.
No, that's the genius.
I mean,
It's
really,
genius.
this is
Deconstruction is like a
this
miracle.
is this is a whole new way to serve.
Yeah.
You could serve this in an
Yeah.
expensive restaurant.
It shows some
if
ability.
you didn't pay for
Yeah.
the desserts
It's
before.
homemade and it's deconstructed. So what you do is you take the cream
Right.
of the Oreo, okay?
Right.
You get into something?
Okay, and then?
Okay. And you take the wafer,
Right.
okay, and you go like this. You put it together, this part together.
Wow. And you
Okay.
spread it on.
You spread it on,
Right.
okay, and you dip it into the milk.
Wow.
Dip it in the milk,
Oh my God.
okay, and you eat it.
Oh.
It is.
I have to try this. I
It's
have to.
good.
Wait. What? Am I doing it right?
Okay,
Okay. I go.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
no,
okay.
use
Okay.
A spoon.
Okay. I'll use the
Use
right.
a
You
spoon.
said, make sure I'm doing this
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
And I put it on
yeah,
here.
you might have to hold it with your finger a little. You
Okay.
can spread it.
And can I use some of the coulis?
Yes, if you want to.
I'm going to put some of the
The strawberry
raspberry
preserve.
the raspberry coulis.
And dip it in the milk.
Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
dip it in
fall.
here.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Wait.
you eat
Wait.
it. Hold on a second.
Okay. Let me try some of this cream.
This whipped cream with the
Oh.
blueberries. Oh
Oh,
my God.
like an autumn afternoon after the leaves fall. It's absolutely spectacular. Rich, in all honesty, I could see this in a
Yes.
Scarsdale restaurant.
Yes, 100%.
I really could.
Anywhere.
You know, because usually Scarsdale restaurants, you know how they do their desserts.
Yes.
They usually buy them.
Yeah.
They don't make them homemade.
No, not
but
everybody.
this is absolutely spectacular.
You know,
Great-
so I mean,
great
honestly,
job.
did you-
A salute.
A salute. So this is my homemade deconstructed Oreo cookie.
Oh.
You can find the recipe on hashtag make your own desserts at home,
That is
or
delicious.
you could contact me by email and I could show you how to make them.
Now, Rich, let's talk about this team.
I don't know if I could after this.
I'm totally distracted.
I know.
And you have the blueberries to clean the palate.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
everything was.
amazing.
Isn't it great?
They're spectacular.
Homemade, everything homemade.
Let's talk about this guy's team.
All right. Now, listen, you got to give Bistro Smokers credit, Walter Palmer and Salvatore Cuculo, being in first place with 103 points.
Yeah, and they've been up there a lot.
Yes, 150 to 1 pre-draft odds, 80 to 1 post-draft odds.
Pretty bad odds when you think about it now.
Well, 80 to 1 isn't bad.
To win?
Well, yeah.
I don't know, considering, but anyway, go on.
I mean,
let's talk
that's
about
in the
their
middle of
team.
the pack. Maybe the right amount of trades, 3 trades. I like to see a team not make too many. 3 to 4. They really, they gave up Bryce Harper to get Shelby Miller when they needed a pitcher.
Yep, they did.
And this is what I want to say about the team. Okay, 68 out of 70 offensive points is ridiculous.
It's
Okay,
ridiculous.
and this is the key to them. Honestly, you have no excuse right now, Bistro Smokers, if you don't win this league. Okay.
Yep.
68 out of 70 offensive points. Okay, that is
I'm sorry,
ridiculous.
I just can't.
I understand.
Oh.
And the homemade, the texture,
Dude,
the
it's-
density of the
it's
wafer,
just unbelievable,
Isn't
my
the,
God.
with the it's just
Absolutely
it's
fabulous
exquisite.
combination. Anyway, I'm
And
sorry.
it's deconstructed. The technique.
That is the genius of it.
The
all.
technique of
It
it.
really is. And it's
Unbelievable.
homemade.
Homemade. Unbelievable.
Homemade.
I don't know. It's a love of mine. I picked it up.
Continue.
So, Yasiel Puig was a great move, but you don't need him. You know what I mean? Josh Donaldson has been a great move, but you don't need him. You know what I mean? Rajah Davis, you're getting lucky with him, but once Miguel Melky comes back, what are you going to do? But at the end of the day, you don't need him because your team and your season comes down to pitching. James Shields, CC Sabathia, Zach Greinke, until recently, they're not getting the job done. And what
No.
if they don't get the job done? And Tom, he's weak in strikeouts and wins. And those categories are hard to move up.
Very difficult to move up in. He
There's
might
no
be able to do
guarantee.
it. Greinke is starting to pitch well for him now. That may be a small kick save for him, but he definitely needs more people to step up to the plate for his pitching if he expects to win. You know what the problem is with him or with them? I don't know if they both run or if it's just Sal. The problem is they still expect to get equal value for their players.
Yep.
What's that going to do when you only have 10 weeks left and you don't want to give to get what you need? You're going to end up staying with the same players that
Yep.
you have. You are not going to win the league if you stay with the same
I
players.
think they're nervous.
They're nervous because they don't know how to make a move.
Yeah.
They listen to what you said, that no one's going to give them players to give up. People are going to be looking out for them, so they're going to be like, well, I'm going to get equal talent. It's not going to happen. And I don't think, I don't know who's going to win it, but if they keep their team the same, they're not going to win
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
Someone's going to come in, make a move, and take over like a true champion does.
And who's going to trade with them now? Because there's 7 teams
Very
competing.
difficult. Very difficult.
Not that I don't want to trade with them.
If you make them stronger, you're probably not
But
going to win.
I'm looking. I have 91 points. I have a shot at this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like
You do have a shot.
I'm not going to get radical
You do,
here. So
yeah.
it's a tough situation because there's so many teams in it, and
And
the
they've
teams
got-
that are in it
Go
need the
ahead.
categories.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it ain't going to be that easy. You had your chance to make a deal.
I mean, they've got some super surprises, obviously, out of Brandon Phillips.
do.
I mean, come on.
No,
Carlos
Juan
Beltran
Segura.
is still doing it.
Juan Segura in the
But at
18th
least
round.
Juan Segura, we don't know what kind of player he
Beltran's
is.
going to get hurt.
But I mean, my God, Beltran's still doing it.
He's going to get hurt. You
Well,
can't
then-
trade Beltran. Who's going to
How
take
can you?
Beltran?
But you know what he was asking for a guy like Beltran? The moon and the stars. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's why he's not going to get what he's going to get for it.
Is Mike Leake going to keep this up? I mean, really? I mean,
Pitching really
James
good for him,
Shields
though.
is going to get no wins.
No, James Shields is getting no wins. Very
CC
good.
Sabathia, he's not an anchor. He's not an ace. And
He's always been on the precipice and never went over.
and I also think Bistro Smokers overplays the speculative minor league guy. Henry Horatio
Oh,
on
no.
Baltimore. Where is he going to play? Adam Jones, Nate McLeod.
But you know
Nick
what?
Marchese.
But it's worked out for him before. I mean, you say he doesn't need Yasser El Puig, but you know something? That guy turned out to be phenomenal.
Yeah, but he's starting to come down.
You're
And
right.
He's immature.
Yes, he's immature. But
He's got
still,
60 out of 70 offensive points.
You're right. I can't argue with
cares
you.
about that?
You're absolutely right.
Bistro's going to lose some points in run score, though. And that's the.
Oh,
that's the
absolutely.
thing.
I mean, there's a couple teams right behind him. I mean,
Yes,
who's
3 or
second?
4 points.
Who's second? Oh, that would be me.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway,
And
let's
that's a
forget
double
that.
switch because you overtake a
Well, let me ask you about this, Rich. Since we talked about his team, let me ask you, what kind of pressure is he feeling, especially when he sees, let's say, for example, so many polls going up,
Yes.
and he's dominating, 8-3, 7-3, blah, blah, blah. He's killing the polls, and then he sees another poll, which I told you not to put up, just for the record, because I touched second for a second. You put up a poll with me in there, and then it just turns. What is the reasoning for that? And and part two, how does it affect the psyche of a Sal Kooky Kukalo? Because we know he puts on this front like, hey, my drink, hey. We know he puts on that act, but how does he feel mentally about fantasy baseball when that happens?
Well, there's a two-part question.
It is.
Getting
Just
back
like the deconstructed Oreo.
Yeah, which is a great.
Dude, I can't wait.
I
You gotta
think-
show me it.
I think the poll, the gem poll, affects him because it shows that there's a
Because you
divide.
say you didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect it somewhat, but I honestly think you got a better team. I think
Really?
you have a higher upside. I think the fact that Bistro's
And just for the record, for him to compliment me, all hell has to freeze
this-
over. All hell has to freeze over.
there's
But
no,
anyway,
there's no
I
nerves.
digress.
There's no nerves behind your operation, and there's a plan.
yes.
There's Bistro's. They're desperate right now because they worked hard at this.
What do you think their plan is? I think it's, I'm good enough. I honestly get that from
think
Sal.
they do think
I'm good enough.
Yeah, and I think they do think that, and I would.
And
too.
they are.
If I had their team,
They
I would
can
do
win it.
They could win it, but how many times
Absolutely.
have we seen teams in the same situation with 103 points or a 10-point lead or a 5-point lead and lose it? Okay, and I'm telling them right now, they don't have the goods in pitching.
It's
They're
just,
not
it's
getting.
very,
These guys
very
are not
difficult.
performing. Tell me they're not disappointing. Shields ain't disappointing him right now. Sabathia is not disappointing him right now. He's dead last in strikeouts. You don't
It's
think
tough.
you don't think
And
Sal's
but the
going,
thing is this,
Sal's
he's,
going,
be-
why
he's behind in strikeouts.
Behind.
The second guy.
10 and a half weeks to make it
Yeah.
up.
Even if he went 10 starters, that would be the only way he'd catch 3 or 4 points.
Okay, but who's
That's a
gonna
dead
be-
category
Okay, but then
for
he's
him.
going to lose saves and ratio in
But
ERA.
it's a dead category for him, strikeouts.
It's a dead category.
So he may have 68 points in offense,
Mhm.
but what about those dead categories?
And then you add this, the 1 point is 69, and now divide 69 into 6 categories, not 5. And
Right.
then his average.
And now
starts
you
to
get
come
about
down.
11.4, 11.3.
You know, I don't know Sal, I don't know Walton. I'm rooting for you guys. And you know, you have picked up Donaldson and Leak and Rajah Davis and Eric Hosmer.
Great pickups.
But I think the nerves are starting to show again. You guys got very nervous, I share, with your in-team operation, and I said to you, you had to step it up this year.
Also, they haven't done anything recently.
No, they haven't.
Their moves have not panned out recently.
No,
Great early
I
on
mean,
moves, but later moves, no good.
Gibson, Eovaldi,
Yep.
Ivan Nova had a good start.
Ivan
Tabata,
Nova, it's no
You know what I
R.
mean?
No R.
Tabata and Gray, Neuracia, just a little bit, maybe too.
But I
dry
tell
out.
you, his surprises have been surprises. I mean, Gene Segura, Josh Donaldson, I mean, Mike Leake, Rajah Davis.
Yeah,
He's had some
totally.
nice
I mean,
surprises,
you know,
dude,
love.
from some very obscure players.
Yeah.
Gotta give him credit for
the
that.
color-coded drafting. But
You know what? Can't knock the
do
color
you
code
have
draft.
faith in their team to win, or more faith in this dessert?
Oh, easily I have more faith in the dessert. Like I said, they do. It's easy to see how Sal and Walter may get there thinking, we have enough, because they do. It's easy to see. When you have that, especially that one half of the game locked
Locked
you
up.
get you think you're solid because you have a solid base. But I'm telling you, it's going to be the wrong thing. There are just too many. Like I said, I have no idea. I'm not saying me at all.
Yeah.
I don't know who is going to win it, but it's not going to be Sal if he keeps the team the same.
I
If
don't
that
think he's
Bistro
gonna-
Smokers keeps the team the same, there are too many, and we said it right in the beginning. This league is way too competitive. There are way too many people making moves. Sal, you're going to get passed by somebody because there's 7 teams competing.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get it right if you just sit on your laurels. Someone's going to come up and take that championship.
No one's going to trade with
That whatever I just said,
Yeah.
championship.
No one's going to trade with them now at this stage.
Very
And
difficult.
I think
They
they
would
have-
have to overwhelm
They
it.
have to overwhelm them, and I think they have a 101-point team. And they have to overwhelm them because everybody knows that
Anybody that's competing, because that's all he can
anybody
trade
who's
with.
competing, yes, that's all we can trade
Exactly.
with. The competitors know that they have to be careful with
Yes.
trading with this guy. And You know, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, you know, and you got a 101 point team at most, and
Rich, let me ask you then, since we've rated all these teams now, and we've looked at the baseball league, and thank you again for giving us your time
Yeah.
to do this again, and thank you for
Yeah,
running the league and
I
having me
appreciate
here.
it, you know, it's-
I appreciate it.
thank you. And
And
Joe Bean, say
Joe
Bean
Bean,
Farm.
say Joe Bean Farm. We have to